Hey, it's Matt with TechCom Tools. I'm doing this video as a bumper to the overview of my Orange County STC presentation on screencasting that I did last night. I did the overview video using Adobe Presenter, using the same lavalier and soundboard going directly into Adobe Presenter. Also, the camera for the overview is done using the webcam that I've got on my system. This video is being shot with my DSLR camera. The audio is being captured through the same audio and mixer setup, but it's then going into a digital sound recorder rather than directly into the software to reduce some of the line noise. Let me know if you can see the difference in the comments. Thanks. Hi, I'm Matt Sullivan with TechCom Tools. I'm doing this video today as a recap of the presentation that I gave to the Orange County Society for Technical Communication on the 7 steps to recording effective screencasts. I hope you enjoyed the overview. If you're interested in more information on the topic, I do run a 6-week, 1-hour session course for STC, and you can get that information down at the bottom. Also, if you're interested, I've got a few ways that you can get in contact with me to ask me questions or to connect socially and be able to communicate with each other about topics like social media, technical communication, and video in general. Hope you enjoy the overview. The overall title that I chose, 7 Steps to Creating Effective Screencasts, I want to cover ways to design and deliver screencasts with ease and confidence. I promise that's the last thing I'm going to read off my PowerPoint slides. And here are the 7 steps that I chose to cover in my presentation. We started off with a discussion of branding and expectations. And we talked about what you can do to grab people right away and how you can hold on to them to make sure that they're listening fully to your message or that they're interested in more information and listening to everything that you have to say. As an example, I showed the web page that promoted this session. I talked about the branding of the web page in general and the photo that we had up on the website. That's not the one that I really wanted. Another one that I considered is a caricature that I had done at a conference last year. But what I would have wanted is to have my regular social media photo up there on the page. I think it looks a little bit more professional, kind of comes and carries the message a little bit more fully. Here's just the text content that went along with that web page in case you couldn't read it. I continued the analogy about branding and content and delivery to talk about how the people in the room might have judged me as I showed up for the presentation itself. Basically, that branding discussion was a lead-in to a discussion of the length of an e-learning or a screencast lesson in general. So just like a web page, you only have a couple of seconds to grab somebody with branding. You only have a couple of seconds to grab somebody with your content and your delivery and your production level. So you want to make that first impression a good one. I did use the ShamWow video as an example of, like him or hate him, somebody that grabs your attention quickly and forces you to make that decision. We had a discussion related around the length of your video itself. What I like to use is a title first approach. That means you're going to establish the goal for your screencast. You're going to write the title to address the goal, and then you're going to write the script to meet both the goal and the title. Make them as short as you can, and you're probably going to get a better reaction from your end users and your audience than you would if you try and create one Uber project. Again, like a web page, your screencasts are going to have a specific goal. Make sure that you've got that goal in mind. Make sure that you state it, obviously, to the audience, and that you get to that point as fast as you can. Try not to create a 5-minute video for 5 minutes' sake. Create a 2-minute video that establishes and meets your goal, and if you can get it done in less time, do it in less than that. When creating screencasts, you want to take your time in doing the first few steps. That is getting the goal and the title squared away, writing the script, and then physically recording the video. After that, we discussed what you want to do in terms of editing the content itself, recording audio. If it is an option to record the audio after the fact, you may find that that's a little bit more smooth. And then applying those branding elements that were so important that we talked about at first, publishing and broadcasting this content as if it was a web page that was going to generate revenue. Treat these things as if they're going to be a commercial product. Now, we had a big discussion on audio, lighting, and then video options as well. Starting off with audio, we talked about the things that can create background noise, the importance of the quality of your audio equipment, and the degree of confidence with which you present your material. Fail in any of those things, with audio especially, and you're probably going to lose your audience quite quickly. Background noise, a couple of things that you should be aware of and you should try to improve upon within your own audio environment. And then the quality of the recording, including the quality of the mic and the type of mic that you're using. Right now I'm using a lavalier mic. That means that it's very close up to my voice, but it's not intruding to the camera. I also have the choice of using a boom mic, which is not hooked up right now, but this mic would be a little bit more intrusive in the video shot, so I decided not to use that one, even though I do like the audio quality a little bit better, speaking directly into that microphone instead of having it catch that audio from the side. It's got a little bit fuller sound to it. We also discussed the mixing board that I use and whether or not folks would need a mixing board in their own environments. Getting back to the degree of confidence, we've got that easy delivery. I want to make sure that I feel comfortable in front of the camera, or if I'm not in front of the camera, I just feel comfortable with a microphone in front of me. You want to come across as someone who's trying to help out a best friend. If you can keep that tone, if you can speak to somebody rather than writing a script. Moving on to video, we had a discussion of webcam or DSLR. Currently, I'm using my webcam because it integrates well with the Adobe Presenter software. I'm trying to make this video as easy as possible to produce. Webcams are great because not only are they low cost, they might actually be included in the equipment that you've got right now. A DSLR, on the other hand, is going to be a little bit better image. You're going to spend a lot more money on a digital SLR camera, and then the lenses to go with it, including some lighting and some stuff like that. But you're going to have more control over the color, the zoom, and various features within the image. You're going to get a better quality image. Talking about lighting, what I have going on right now is what you would consider a 3-point lighting setup. I've got 2 lights out here. I do actually also have out this way a window. So I've got some natural light coming in, which means I need the ability to balance those lights. I've also got some lighting behind me for the background. I don't have just one light going in here, but I've got 2 lights coming this way to knock out, cancel some of the shadows. Here's an example of a lighting temperature scale. You'll notice that around 5600K on that bar is where the picture goes basically straight white. If you get lower than that, you get yellows and reds. If you go above that, you get various hints of blue. You've got choices when you get lighting, whether you go incandescent, whether you go LED, and you can also go compact fluorescent as well. Compact fluorescent is pretty much like the LED. They just take a little bit longer to warm up. A little bit cheaper, a little bit longer to warm up. So a little pun there, consider your environment and budget when purchasing, not only the environment that we live in terms of using batteries and lights that don't last very long, but also considering the environment that you will be setting up your lighting in. Make sure it's appropriate and then you've got enough bright light to get a video that you're going to be happy with. We wrapped up with a discussion of goals versus cost as far as the choices that you make in software. When you look at more expensive equipment, when you look at more expensive software, you generally have a longer ramping up, a steeper learning curve to use that more sophisticated equipment, that thing that allows you to get a higher level product. So make sure that you're tethering the goals of your screencast and your e-learning material. Make sure that you're tethering that to your audience. Now, speed versus quality goes a little bit to the software that you've purchased, but you've got two main pieces of software that you could use, 2 types of software that you could use for creating screencasts. Something like Camtasia is pretty reasonably priced, pretty easy to use, and generally records in frames per second. Captivate, on the other hand, is generally a little bit more expensive, and it will, generally speaking, capture moments in time and then allow you to develop things over the top of that. They both have different feels. They both have a different amount of time that you need to invest in order to come up with an acceptable output. And in general, Camtasia is going to be good for quick hits on things, where Captivate is probably going to be better for things that are going to be longer term or more in depth in content. With Captivate, I tend not to deliver how-tos, quick explanations of a specific process, but I do more in-depth and things that are part of a series. And so I wrapped with just a couple of generalizations about equipment and screencasting in general. We can get good equipment, reasonably priced, around $50 or $100 for both software and hardware components. Great equipment can be much more expensive. A mic can be $300 or $400. A mixing board can be anywhere from $100 to $800. But you don't need to get that equipment until you grow to that point where you need that extra level of input and control. Make sure you, and perhaps even more importantly your boss, is aware of the time that we're assigning for these projects and making sure that those goals match the audience that we're addressing. Shoot too high and too low, and perhaps you shouldn't be doing a screencast at all. Maybe another medium is going to be more appropriate. Finally, take your time when you're creating your goals, your titles, and recording all of your material. Finally, pick somebody to emulate as you're doing your presentation. Somebody who you've seen in the past that you like, a style that you think that you can carry off, and if necessary, make sure that you harness your inner ShamWow. So I hope you enjoyed my overview of my STC presentation on creating effective screencasts. This is only a small part of what we do in the STC Effective Video Documentation class, and you've got that link down at the bottom of the page. Thanks for watching. So here we are back with the DSLR camera and recording to the audio recorder, the Roland digital recorder. I saw a pretty clear difference between the camera shot using the webcam and the camera. That wasn't too surprising. What is surprising is that even the audio going into Adobe Presenter seems to pick up a little line noise when we're going back through into the computer. Going to the digital recorder, to that separate audio source, keeps it nice and clean. And I wouldn't have even really believed that there was that much of a difference. Let me know what you thought of the differences, if you got any comments or if you saw anything that I missed, and I look forward to talking to you soon. Thanks, bye.